What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your daily astrology horoscope for Thursday, October 17th, 2024. Astrologer Brian Scarborough here, Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. Well, I appreciate you all so much. I really do. Tuesday, right after I filmed Wednesday's horoscope, my computer blew up. And hopefully it's just the power supply and it didn't fry my motherboards. It's at the computer doctor getting some diagnosis right now. I tried to set up my laptop to do like a standard sort of recording that I do from my office, and just kept crashing my laptop. So just gonna do it the old-fashioned way and record on the old camera. Yeah, interesting times. It's very Venus opposite Uranus for me, especially Venus in my 8th house and in Scorpio. Like, it's funny because I'm not very attached to many things, kind of just offset before we get into this full moon horoscope, but like I'm not really attached to too many things, but I did really love my computer. It was almost like my prized possession. Like, it was where I did all my work from, my astrology from, it was where I trade from, create from. And like, yeah, it's so funny. Like, it happened and just pop, blew, and I was like, ooh, that's ironic, you know? I kind of tried to shake it off, but like I realized throughout the day, like how much I was like bummed about it happening. And I don't know, gotta look forward to like getting things fixed and, you know, creating more wealth and manifestation to do these things. And if I need to get a new computer, you know, I gotta be able to come up with ways to do that for myself. So it's just very interesting. Astrology, like Venus opposed Uranus, right? Venus, valuables, possessions, Uranus, electricity, surge. Anyways, I appreciate you guys. Well, we're going to talk about this full moon now, and it's a big one here in Aries. It's at 24 degrees, and it's with Chiron, and the sun's at 24 degrees of Libra, and it's conjunct Juno, and there's still this big T-square energy over to Mars in Cancer. And really, it's kind of, you know, it's within 5 degrees to even a square to Pluto, right? So it's kind of like this cardinal grand cross. And it's such an initiating time in our lives. And even just coming off eclipse season, that first full moon after eclipse season, it's pretty intense. And there's so much integration that happens as we're in between spaces and trying to identify this new story and trying to see where this new slide of our life is going. It's quite interesting about the maturity that has to come with it. Venus is going to spend its final day in Scorpio. It's sextile at Pluto. And like, we're all having to like do some like really deep work about finding our power and initiating our power. And really, on any full moon, it's about a release. And I think the release in many ways, especially with Chiron here, is the stories that we tell ourselves, the little like loops that we tell ourselves, where it's like that little bit of doubt seeps in and like, ooh, what if I can't? What if it won't work? What if I'm not strong enough? And this is, I just think, a really big moment for us to really just completely eliminate that story. And everything we do to ourselves that disempowers us and puts us in that like infant sort of state has to go. And we just got to be warriors right now. And everything is, it's just I can. If you're emotionally identified with something positive that you are passionate about right now, you just have to stick it out and be a warrior. And there is no story that it's not going to work. Like, that's just got to go. No more doubt. You know what I mean? That's what this full moon feels like to me, is like, we can't be on the fence in this Libra season right now. With a south node and coming off a solar eclipse in Libra, there's no more on the fence. It's you do or you don't. And we can't just be waiting to get pushed, you know, whether it's by the universe or by somebody else or by a job or by a partner or by friends, to like identify our future and just be all in for it. And that doesn't mean that things can come up and change. I think we always have to be mutable enough to understand when we have to shift gears and be flexible. But we still have to courageously attack right now. And it's like all the things in life, especially with the squares to Mars, and Mars dispositing this moon, and it's in fall position, and the sun in fall position in Libra, and this moon in Aries is trying to be like, come on, get it together. Even though it's with Chiron and it's all sensitive and feeling like the, outcast, the weirdo, this is our key right here. This is our ticket to like proving to the universe, to God, to ourselves, that we're resilient, that we're not going to stop our missions in life, that we're not going to give up when it's starting to maybe get a little hard, that we're going to stick it out here. It's Pluto at 29 degrees Capricorn for the last time in our lives. Like, this is just gotta get up the top of this mountain. Like I've said before, it's very steep. It's very slippery. But man, we gotta have that determination, that grit. And really like, find it deep. It's not so much about like a surface level, like a mask. It's not about this like false ego that's trying to like pump itself up. This is just a deep identification of I'm going to get to where I need to be. And there's going to be challenges along the way. I'm going to have to deal with others along the way. I'm going to have to deal with society, with government, with this, with that. These things are not going away anytime soon, if ever. Capricorn's always going to be there, even though Pluto's leaving. Like, there's always going to be some kind of structure and hierarchy to this reality. Saturn's not going anywhere. None of it is. Just Pluto into Aquarius. Which does mean we're going to shift into a more rebellious nature, a more individuated nature, but we gotta have that grit. And this full moon's about releasing the self-doubt and maybe the pity, the apathy of self. Just not giving it our all. Because Aries just wants to take off and hit the ground running and go. And we gotta remember that. We gotta remember to hit the ground running and to not fake it and to not front it, but to mean it. And I think that's where Venus in the sextile to Pluto is important, with Venus finishing up here in detriment in Scorpio for the final day. Before coming into Sag and starting to want more freedom, starting to want more exploration of truth, and wanting to kind of know and see and feel something a little bit lighter, something a little bit more jovial. And I think that's, something absolutely positive, but these are things we have to identify in our life about what we want and how to keep that mentality going and to not just fizzle out, but to hit the ground running and to go. We can't keep hitting the brakes or weighing out options. It's just go. And it's the part of ourself that can't quickly identify and instinctively act because of this or that or them or they. All these things that we can get emotionally caught up in. We just have to know what's best inside for ourselves, our soul, and just do it. And that doesn't mean it's going to work. But you have to trust yourself enough right now to feel like empowered to do it, no matter what, and to be okay with failure. We're in a society now where it's like so frowned upon and almost shamed and like, you can't be a failure. There is no other way to become great. There is no other way to become strong, to become proficient at something if we do not have some failures. Anything I've ever gotten good at in life, I've had to fail at first. And it's just something I've experienced in my own life, but it's just a bad time to have fear around starting, around going, around doing. Because yeah, our comforts might be tested in some way when we have to make a big decision. But when we're doing that thing, whatever it might be, and we're reacting from a place that's really just embedded in our soul's identity, that we can identify as an ego, as a personality, as an identity, and just own that, because it's not false. It comes from a deep and powerful place. Then we're going to be just fine. But there's definitely a lot of parts of how we identify with ourselves that they disempower us. And it's almost like a lot of it's the false stuff too. Especially with Neptune here finishing up in Pisces, like there's a lot of illusions everywhere in the world, especially through media, social media included. There's a lot of facades out there. And the facades are not going to go on forever. So don't get caught up in someone else's dream or vision or trying to match up and compare with others. You don't even have to compare with yourself. You just need to be strong. So this is a full moon to me about getting rid of our own weaknesses. And not necessarily that we're just bypassing them, but we're not letting them dictate our life. If we're weak in some area, but we're passionate about it, we need to get stronger. And our mindset and our emotional prowess in that area needs to be about being stronger, about being ready to go, and to just have the grit to do it. It's kind of cool. I'm actually excited to see what this full moon brings as we finish out this Libra season and come into Scorpio season, finishing up Pluto in Capricorn. I just feel like this is where we need the strength right now. And this full moon's like, stop playing weak. Stop playing small ball. You know, stop being middle of the road for your own greatness. Go get it. You know, it's time to go get it. There's no more doubt, you know? And sure, doubts are going to come up, like, but it's about catching ourselves. And like, I'm going to do it too, you know? Like, there's moments, of course, where I'm like, oh, fuck, computer blew up. Like, great. Like, am I going to have to buy a new one? It's the last thing I need right now is to spend, I don't need it now, $2,500 on a new computer, but I need it for everything that I manifest abundance in this life. So what? Get more creative. You know, it's like, that's what the last days taught me, is like, it's motivated me to come up with new ideas to create abundance, you know? And it's just like finding that motivation right now that's so important. Because it's easy to play that martyr right now. And we don't want to do nothing with the martyr. We're the emperor, right? If we're talking tarot, Aries is the emperor. So we need to grab the ram by the horns and start making calls and dictating our own lives and not holding ourselves back. Because there's like a lot of these emotional triggers, right? With these two defining energies of the Sun and Mars in fall, where it's like we're so dependent upon the approval or the emotional support of something or someone. And we got to be able to do that for ourselves. And if we can do that for ourselves, every relationship's going to fall into place. Every accomplishment we want is going to fall into place. Our personal lives will fall more into place. But it just all starts right now with a positive mindset. With Mercury here at 5 degrees of Scorpio, like we gotta dig deep mentally right now and find that power. And find ways to get what we want. And to understand the deeper truth of what's hidden inside, they can unlock the next level. And to be able to not only identify and understand it, but to express it, to delineate it in our own way, and to be able to find that action quality. Because this is about all the times we don't take action, and all the times we're on the fence, and we just sit and we're stuck in some kind of a paralysis. This is really the opportunity to say no more. I trust my instincts. I trust my intuition. I trust my truth. And wherever that takes me, it takes me. But I have the maturity to take the accountability for what's going to happen, for the decisions I make. And I'm not going to play, the victim to my own decisions either. You make a decision, you experience it, it works out good, it works out bad, it doesn't matter. It's the experience, and that's that XP that we keep leveling up with. So it's just about the constant level up and how we deal with situations, because it's never going to be sunshine and rainbows. We're always going to have to strive. We're always going to have to work hard. We're always going to have to do something. Life is always going to come back around to remind us that we're here in Saturn's realm of Earth. It's Saturn's realm. It's the last planet we can see with the naked eye. He rules this place. And it shows. Because there's always that step backwards. But that's where the recharge happens. So this is about always looking forward almost to the recharge and the experience gained and the knowledge and the wisdom and what we do with those next 2 steps forward. And to not feel bad or be a victim to anything. To empower yourself through everything. And that's where I'm at with this full moon, and I hope it serves you all well, and I hope this horoscope helped you. I'll probably throw the chart up in like the corner when I edit this. But yeah, we all got this. And for what it's worth, if you do want to support the channel and me, and you appreciate this work and the consistency, there are links below to donate. And you can always reach out and book me for a reading. And that always helps the cause too. That's a great exchange of energy as well. What is the card for today? The Chariot. It's my favorite card. 7th card of the major arcana. It's kind of like God's way of telling us that we have to push forward in life. We have to leave the comforts of home behind at times. And that we always have comfort within ourselves no matter where we go, no matter what we do. And we have to find the courage to get on with our lives and to see what else is out there, and that safety is a construct of our imagination in many ways. We're always safe when we're empowered and when we feel strong. It's often just that those times that we don't want to believe that we feel insecure about anything in life. So, get the fuck out of here. But it's like that. We need to get out of here when it comes to the things in life that hold us back from forward progress, from movement, and insecurities. And this is a great opportunity to do just that in our lives, and to embrace where the universe and God are taking us, and to release the control, because the empowerment isn't about control. it's just about always knowing you can make it. Always knowing and believing in yourself that you have what it takes to overcome any certain obstacle or situation. There's always going to be those. But when you believe that you can, and you have the grit, you just do it, and it's not such a big deal. I appreciate you all. I love you. I hope you have a beautiful full moon in Aries. Have a great Thursday, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Much love. Peace.